today I'm going to be doing my review of the Fosi Audio HT4S. It's $199.99. I'll put the link to everything in the website. Like I said in the unboxing video, I'm looking at putting a surround sound system on my back porch. So for that, obviously I need some kind of receiver, amplifier type thing. I really kind of like this because it's small, it's made for outdoors. I'm not really totally 100% sold on it, only because it's 30 watt by 4 channel at 4 ohms and 60 watt subwoofer, or you can do 5 channels at 30 watts. So 30 watts is a little bit on the low side for me, especially for an outdoor unit, but I will say I do care more about clarity than and accuracy than I do about loudness. So I just wanted to test it out in my home theater system that I have already. So that way I can kind of get an idea of, is this something that really is, something that I really want to do? Because I want to get the right system in place before I start running all the wire. Because if I end up having to have a bigger receiver, something like my big Denon that I usually use for home theater, then I might want to change and have it in a different location than if I'm doing something small. So what I'm going to do, I've got all my pre-wire plugs and stuff for my home theater system, so I'm going to be unplugging those and plugging in the new speaker cables. It's going to take me a minute. I'm probably going to have to stand in front of the camera because that's just sort of the nature of it. I'm in kind of a little bit of a tight spot here. I'm going to move the camera just a little bit so maybe I won't be quite in the way, but I'm not going to mess with cable management too much because as soon as I'm done with this video, whoops, something just fell. As soon as I'm done with this video, I'm going to unplug it and put it back the way it was, because this is ultimately not going to stay here. I just really wanted to kind of get an idea of what it sounds like before I, go through all that mess of putting everything together. So let me prop my cable back up over here. And I'm going to go ahead and, before I forget, there's a switch on the bottom here, and so right here it says sub or flat. I'm not going to be using the sub outside because I don't want my neighbors to get pissed, so I'm going to switch that over to flat. What that does is it gives me a center channel instead of just basically 4 channel stereo and an subwoofer. So I'm not going to be using a subwoofer. I want that center channel because I'm mostly going to be watching movies, concerts, that sort of thing on it. But yeah, let me go ahead and start unplugging stuff and getting stuff plugged back in. So I'm just going to go ahead and unplug all the speaker cables that I need to unplug. And this is why you always turn off your receiver before you start unplugging stuff. That was dumb. Plate's a little loose. I get my fingers in there. Sorry, like I said, I'm going to try not to block the camera, but never mind. So my system does have these left and right surrounds as well as the back and the front. I don't need those for this. I'm just going to leave them plugged in so I have less to mess with when I put it all back how it was. Just going to kind of tuck these out of the way. So I've got my left front, right front, front center, back surrounds there. So let's go ahead. I'm just going to kind of do them one at a time here. I'm going to turn this unit around so I can see what I'm doing there. So So one thing to remember is right here is your subwoofer slash center. Again, I'm plugging it into center, but this is where your subwoofer would go if you were doing that. So I'm going to kind of work my way from the bottom up, and then I'll get that center at some point. But I'm going to get these back ones first because they're the hardest ones to reach for me here. I should have made the ends of them just a little bit longer. That would have been probably a little easier on me, but what can I say? I didn't. Alright, so that is my left rear. Right rear. So just to warn you, there will be cables everywhere by the time I'm done. Like I said, I'm not going to pay a whole lot of attention to cable management. Alright, we're going to go ahead and get that center because it's pretty easy to reach right now. And to test this, I'm going to be running it through my Apple TV via Bluetooth because when I'm running it outside, I just simply don't want an extra wire to have to run. I'm running it outside, so anything I run I have to hide, and I just don't feel like hiding everything. So I think Bluetooth will work. We're going to try it out. I'll try to move back the camera when I get to that point so you can kind of see what I'm doing. Alright, here's the front right. That's a little loose. And at long last, the final cable, which is the front left. Alright, now that I've got all that, I'm going to go ahead, grab my power cable here, kind of get it around my light, and I'm going to go ahead and plug it in. Like I said, this is a very temporary setup, so normally having all these cables like this in a system that I intend to keep set up would be completely unacceptable. For this demonstration, I think we're fine. I'm going to go ahead and just turn all these knobs down. Okay, so I guess the volume dial just kind of spins. Yeah. Subwoofer volume we don't need because we're not using one. Let's go ahead and get this turned on. So to turn it on, you just press this. Maybe it was a long press. Yep, long press. So it's blinking blue, which I know from looking at the manual is Bluetooth. So that's exactly what I want. If you wanted another mode, you can just do a short press and it kind of goes through them. It takes a second to get clicked over to it. I don't remember what all the different colors mean, but I know the blue is what I need. So we're going to go with that. All right. It's going to take just a minute. I had to turn on my receiver so my video would go through that. And I'm going to back this up just so you can kind of see a little bit of what's going on the screen. It's not going to be terribly important for what we're doing here, but trying to make everybody sick, moving everything. But I just want you to see kind of some of the settings that I'm going through. And I have small kids, so you can't see all the stuff I'm trying to maneuver around. All right, I think that's close enough. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to settings, and I've already got it on Bluetooth because I was messing with it earlier to try to figure out where all those settings are. Not look like a complete fool doing the video, but we're going to go ahead and select the Fosi Audio HT4S, and it's connected. So we're going to go back, and we need to go, oops, too far. We can go down to, I think it's system. Oh, no, I saw it up there. Video and audio. And we're going to go to audio output. And we're going to output to the Fosi Audio HT4S. So there we are. And now, I probably should have had this already set up with what I was going to play. Let's see here. So I do want something that's going to be in some kind of stereo that's not going to get me sued for copyright. So let's see if I can pull up the last waltz. I should have it on here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and start playing this. I know I need to mess with the volume and other settings, so I'm going to let this get started real quick, and I'm just going to kind of pan over to the jumbled up mess that I have right there. And it's going to take just a minute for this to load. Poor planning. That's why we're no frills, because I should have had that already done. But I didn't, so that's where we're at. That's oh, there's my Beavis and Butthead mug. All right. Of course, Prime is making me sign or search for it again. So if you're not familiar with The Last Waltz, it is the last concert from the band. Band is who I usually use for my my test album. So I wanted to get something similar and something that I know is not a violation of copyright. Alright, it's going to take just a second there to load. I'm going to go ahead and get ready. So it's already playing, so I did something right. Go ahead and turn it up a bit. There we go. So I had the volume down way too low on the TV, on the Apple TV. So I've got it turned up now. Now it sounds pretty good. Yeah. So actually, it does take a pretty drastic turn on that volume button to make a difference. You know, sometimes you kind of barely adjust it and it goes way up. That's not the case on this. You do have to really roll that switch. I'm going to turn it up just a hair though. So there's a little detent that locks it or stops it at halfway on the bass and treble. Um, I'm going to go ahead and turn that up just a little bit. Without a subwoofer, I do want maybe just a little bit more bass than I usually would on that. The treble's actually really good though. Let me go ahead and just crank it for a minute. So honestly, I mean, I had reservations about a 30-watt system, but this thing sounds really good. It's got enough power for me. I know the speakers that I use outside, of course, will be different than these. I'm not going to put definitive technology front speakers out there, but um, I can definitely tell it's got enough power for my needs. It sounds really good. The bass is suffering just a little bit. Turn that just a little more. You know, if I was watching a movie like Star Wars or something, you know, explosions, things like that, you're not going to have the bass that you would have if you had the subwoofer, but I would prefer the center channel. Like I said, I don't want to annoy the neighbors. Um, I'm going to go without, but I think it sounds really good. When I push the bass up just a little bit more, it sounds good. The treble, I've got it just kind of below. It's a little tinny. Well, of course, the song stopped, and now they're going to an interview. So I'm going to go back just a little bit. Yeah, that sounds a lot better. I turned it down just a little bit, the treble. That center channel just kind of had a little bit of a kind of a tinny sound, but it sounds really good now. The clarity's really good. It's not a system that I think would just blow you away. It's not one of those where you walk away just saying, what just happened? But it does sound really good. And the cool thing is you could use this for gaming if you're into like iRacing or, you know, something like that. It would sound really good with this. You could hook it up to a computer with that USB-C port. This thing has a lot of versatility, and you could even hook it up to a turntable and play basically 2-channel stereo through 4 speakers. So really, really impressed with it. I think it sounds really good. And I've got to be honest, I was really worried that this would be one of those reviews that I kind of wish I hadn't done. But no, this thing sounds really good. Check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe. I'll put all the details in the descriptions. Appreciate you checking in. But wait, there's more. It has a remote too. So I got a little carried away. I totally forgot to try out the remote. It is full function, so you can switch between, you know, all the inputs, mute, volume button, pause, play. I'd have to see if the Apple TV. No. So you could probably fiddle with it and connect it. For the purpose of this, I'm not going to do it because this Apple TV will not be the one that I'll be using outside. I have another one that I'll use for that. But yeah, I totally forgot. It uses 2 AAA batteries. Yeah, I mean, it's kind of cool that this comes with the remote too. You can turn the LED on and off if you don't want that on. So you do have a little bit more functionality with this that you don't have on the unit itself. But appreciate it, and we'll catch you later.